The final playoff spot still hangs in the balance, and our third match of the day showcases one of the teams fighting for that final spot. It is, of course, Cloud9 fighting against OXG for their chance to make the playoffs. It is do or die time for Cloud9.
No, absolutely. I mean, Cloud9, we're going to see what they're made of, especially with the pressure on their shoulders. I mean, OXG, they've already been, qualified for the playoffs. I mean, they've had their ups and downs, of course, for them. They want to be able to have as many points as possible going into it. As for Cloud9, I think we need to see more from them, obviously. I mean, they've had really good starts to games, but we need more consistency out of them. And we've seen them change it from the start of the Super Week to yesterday, and then we have today. And obviously, with the pressure, we'll see how that impacts them.
Well, Cloud9 will be playing against OXG, who don't have as much pressure on their shoulders, but Laxing Cloud9, a little up and down here or there, but they've shown some moments of promise.
Yeah, definitely a little up and down, but I mean, everything has to be left on the line here today. You cannot make any excuses. Everything needs to be perfect. The dream can live on.
Well, here's how. It's a bit complicated, but for Cloud9, they have a very simple job. Their job is to win this game dominantly. They have to win 7-2 or better versus Oxygen right now if they want a chance to make the playoffs. If they can pull that off, their lives then depend on the outcome of our next game. If Wildcard beat Orglis in OT, the race for that 6th spot would become a 3-way tie, and Cloud9 could come out on top in that tie-breaking scenario. The point is, right now, Cloud9 need to perform.
Yeah, and it's an unfortunate situation because out of both of these outcomes that'll happen, LFO and Wildcard going to overtime is the more probable one. So obviously Cloud9, we haven't seen a dominant win, so to say. I mean, 7-3 versus Cruelty is something, but they need to do it even better against OXG, which is that much harder to accomplish. And if they do accomplish, they're going to be sitting there hoping for the one possible scenario that could happen.
Yeah, they've got their work cut out for them, that is for sure. They're coming off a good win against Cruelty. Hopefully that can give them a little bit momentum, but before that, it was a game against Shopify Lax that did have some problems.
Yeah, we had some head scratchers going into that first game against Shopify, but the reality was that they showed up. They went up 3-0. We were giving them praise, but then that timeout is really where then Shopify started to come back alive and where Cloud9 started to lose the plot. They started to lose a hold on that game, where then we pivot going into Cruelty. We were talking about they need to right their wrongs. They need to fix their mistakes. They need to double up. They need to play post plants perfect. And that's actually what we were seeing. They were fixing those mistakes from SR, implementing them into Cruelty, which was why we saw that dominant team going from losing Nighthaven Labs, then to winning Nighthaven Labs, which now it comes into today. You need to be perfect. More perfect than you've ever been so far in your career. You need a 7-1, 7-2, or a 7-0, and that is a tall ask here. But again, the dream can absolutely still live on.
Yeah, it is such a big ask for any team to win that dominantly, especially when there is some pretty good parity. We've seen very competitive matches across the board. Oxygen is a team that has had some of those competitive matches. They've had some slip-ups, but are they really a team that Cloud9 can dominate?
I mean, I don't necessarily, if you would have asked me at the start of the stage, I would agree that I think Cloud9 should be able to have dominated OXG. I mean, Issues coming into the stage is very low energy. They're a very big mental team. So if they lose a couple of rounds, they get in their own heads about it. They start to crash out a little bit, and that's where we see them lose the rest of the game. But as of recently, I mean, it's looked so much better since implementing this team house. Amazing call from the team and the organization to put everyone together, because it has completely revolutionized the amount of energy that they've been able to have. All being together, it gives everybody exactly what they need to not only perform better individually, but work together as a team. And that's what we saw specifically against Wildcard, against SSG in their last sets of games. They were going for amazing rushes. Wildcard had no response. And that's what we wanted to see out of OXG, because we talked about it having an issue on the entry. Who's going to be the entry player? Well, against Wildcard, it didn't really matter because they did it all together. And that team house has been so pivotal for that success.
Yeah, it's something we don't really talk about all that often, but for OXG, you can see that change night and day. You've got your coach behind you, in your ear, fist bumping you as you're going down the line, winning rounds. Like, that adds something to your dynamic.
And we said they needed the coaches to be more of a helping hand in this stage. And as you can see, Kizzy's behind them in the team house. We also saw Redeemer in one of the interviews in the team house, and it just makes things that much more effortless. It diffuses high intense situations during scrims or issues with matches, figuring things out going forward, because every player on this team is capable. We know it from their previous rosters. Now they just need to be able to make it click, and what better way to make it click than when you have the helping hand behind you that can see things instantly, change them right away, and look you directly in the eyes. You take it more to face value when you're in a team house, as opposed to if you're at home, someone tries to tell you to do something, you just kind of brush it off like, yeah, whatever, it wasn't that bad, it's just a scrim. But now, issue, instantly fixed.
Again, and the beauty of having that team house, it really allows everyone to feel like they're at LAN. If you can fist bump, you can see what each other's doing. You can feed off of that vibe that brings into the situation of just being in that environment. Like you were talking about, the coaches can quickly identify what's going wrong. They can be there. They can be that figure. They can just create an atmosphere that isn't there when you're playing alone in your own bedroom. So again, this team house has really paid dividends so far, and especially is going to be needed going into this matchup to possibly stop Cloud9 from making their way into a possible chance of playoff.
Yeah, Oxygen has the opportunity to kind of stop Cloud9 from completing that dream cycle. They go now, hopefully, to some friendly territory for Cloud9. It's been back-to-back Nighthaven labs for them. Probably not going to see that. Yep, banned off the board there, Foxay. I mean, no labs, so where could Cloud9 go now?
Honestly, I'm going to say Lair. I think they'd probably, nope, never mind, Chalet. Okay, complete opposite. I was going to say Cloud9, we talked about them wanting to be a smart team. We've seen a lot of that recently going back-to-back labs, and we were really impressed with how they were able to manage time, getting those opening picks. It was the mid to late round. Chalet kind of throws that off. OXG, I believe, played it yesterday, and so that coming out, they did lose to SSG, but at the end of the day, it wasn't that bad of a matchup. They did fight back, especially on their defenses, but the biggest issue is when you're against Cloud9, it was all on Packer's shoulders for their matchup against Wildcard, I was believe, that got them that win in the first place. So if we don't see Packer being able to come alive, Cloud9 is going to be in a very tough spot.
I was going to say, I think Oxygen is realistically throwing Cloud9 a bone here by allowing Chalet to go through. Just recently playing, sure, Cloud9 can take advantage of it, but same can be said against Oxygen during that Wildcard game where the biggest factor that you were talking about was Packer here on the screen. He was finding those gaps. He was leading that charge. He was opening up the map and exposing a lot of Wildcard weaknesses on those defenses where we talked about Packer being able to do that already. He just doesn't, he kind of lost the plot as all the games have gone on since. So we really need a big performance coming out of Packer. But again, I really think Oxygen is throwing Cloud9 a bone here to speak into that existence of giving Cloud9 a chance, and they have it all right in front of them here with going into Chalet.
I don't know if they're throwing them a bone. I mean, Chalet is a very aggressive-sided map. You play against SSG, arguably the most aggressive-sided team in the NAL. So obviously now, your OXG, you did lose yesterday, but you have that confidence of going into playoffs. If you bring that aggression that we want to see them bring forth, and it's in a situation where you have no pressure and you're feeling the confidence of making the playoffs, I don't see this going in Cloud9's favor where they're able to win at least a 7-2 or better. That's the biggest issue to me, because at this point, can Cloud9 win? Maybe. I still think that OXG is going to win. Can they win 7-2 or better? I don't necessarily have faith unless we see a career game from Packer.
Well, you just said it. You still think OXG is going to win.
Yeah.
Lax, do you have the same thought?
Yeah, I think OXG is going to win. Granted, I didn't know the maps beforehand, but yeah, I do think Oxygen takes this.
Chalet is an interesting opportunity. It's not a map like Clubhouse where it's always going to be a little bit closer in
And Cloud9 removed it.
And Cloud9 removed it. So we will find out. Cloud9, they still have a chance, but it has to be a very one-sided affair. They take on OXG in just a few minutes. Lynx and Ollie will have the call when we come back.
Welcome back, everybody, to the North America League. I am Lynx, joined by XR Troika, and we have our first game of the day that actually has decisive playoff stakes, Ollie, and could complicate our one coming after this. If you need a refresher, well, I'll give you the broad headline. Cloud9 need a dominant victory over OXG in order to make it in. Ollie, what's the score exactly? What's the minimum they gotta get?
I believe, and no one hold me to this, but it is a 7-2 or better.
That is
they
correct.
cannot afford to lose 3 rounds.
That is the case.
In the grand scheme of things, is going to be pretty difficult to do.
It's gonna be hard. I mean, it's hard for like any team Like, obviously, you know, if you Dark Zero, I mean, I was gonna say, sorry, if you Dark Zero or Shopify, they're easy to come by, but like, Dark Zero had a lot of dominant wins, but a lot of those SR games were close, and they're currently our only flawless team. That SR was getting a lot of 7-4s, a lot of 7-5s. Envy took them to OT early in the stage. So even for some of the best teams we have, 7-2s, they are uncommon for a reason. And Cloud9, who have struggled so much this stage, in fact, I mean, they're really one of their only victories coming on the first playday. Then they have a lengthy drought until yesterday, until they beat Cruelty. They went almost the entire stage with only one win on the first playday. But to be fair, Ollie, that was on the map we now find ourselves.
Out of 96 games that we played so far this stage, hazard a guess as to how many have been 7-2 or better.
Ooh. Okay, give me a sec.
Sorry, let's do this correctly. 98 games this stage. Let's count the 2 games that we've already had today.
Well, neither of them have been 7-2, so that makes it easy.
No, but it makes it easier.
We've had the DZ M80 game.
You meant a guess.
Okay.
Not figure it out.
Man, that's... Oh, man. Okay, 3.
5.
Oh, really? So, okay, now I can do it. DZ M80, Wildcard Envy. It gets difficult from there. I want to get at least one more.
You were on a good track with DZ.
Ooh, I actually can't remember the DZ one, but I actually do remember Shopify LFO. That was the first game of the stage.
And then there was, of course, the 7-0.
Oh, sorry. We're counting... Oh, wait. We're counting 7-2s or better?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just 7... I mean, I was still wrong, but I thought it was just 7-2s.
Yes, yeah. So, anyway, the point being, it's a blooming small number. Out of nearly 100 games, we've only had 5.
Not a big number.
Small number. Which it just goes to show how improbable... It's just improbable in this day and age of Siege, right? We're not in a one-sided era of Siege. We are in a very, very target-rich environment for both attack and defense. And OXG have been no slouch. They've had a pretty okay weekend so far. Or should I say week? You know, we started the games a little bit earlier this week. I think that their wildcard game... Well, their wildcard game was by far and away better than their SSG game. SSG was the team that they played yesterday. It didn't really go to plan. It was a 7-4-2 SSG, and OXG were only good for 1 round on the attack, which for me was quite disappointing because when you look toward their wildcard game, they were good on the attack. They were able to get 4 of the 5 attacking rounds. And it was their attacks where we sort of looked at them and were like, where has this OXG been and what have they been doing for the whole stage? Because it was explosive. There was loads of teamwork. There was some brilliant coordination. And we had a good time watching it. It wasn't even like they got the opening pick every single round.
Ollie and I, that was the most, like, obviously the SSG M80 game was fun, but Ollie and I think both agreed that was the most fun game we watched, just like sitting back having a blast.
Are there any Easter eggs for this game? I feel like there could be an Easter egg.
Easter eggs? What do you mean?
Something
Like
that we
little
maybe
tidbits,
don't,
fun facts?
something maybe that we don't usually have on the
I don't
screen.
know. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. Because we have the ban phase right now, Ollie. We have the ban phase right now. And that's more... We got to talk about that. Because we got 2 shields that are banned. We got Clash and Monty. It's... Dude, that's like... This is game-changing. This is a generational op ban phase so far. You're not gonna believe what's gonna come next.
I'm going to fall asleep. And
5,
you just wake me up when
4,
Blackbeard and
3,
Azami have been banned.
2, 1, boom. Blackbeard and Castle, you were close.
It's basically the same thing. it's basically the same horse at this point. So, no real bombshells being dropped here. It's not like we've got the SR game we just saw where we had some, you know, more targeted bans. We've had a Bravo ban today, we've had a Sense ban. Yeah, they've come in the 2nd round of banning. But even the earlier bans, it feels like they've been a little bit more than just defaults. This is fairly default stuff, but then again, we are headed into a chalet. Cloud9 starting off on the defense, and Oxygen starting off on the attack. The side, to be honest, that I'm hoping that they perform on so far, because what we saw the other day on Cafe, it was exciting.
It was really exciting. I really enjoyed it. But Ollie, I will say, thank you for being patient, because I do have something to share. I lied to you. If everybody would direct your attention to the top of the screen, because we mentioned that Cloud9, well, they're in a bit of a tricky spot, aren't they? They have to win a 7-2 or greater. We've made it easy for you. Cloud9 have 3 lives, simple as that. If they lose 3 rounds, they're out. No more playoffs, bye-bye. LFO wildcard are getting that spot. So, every time Cloud9 lose a round, you will see one of their hearts go away. And maybe, by the end, you will be heartbroken. Ideally, unless you're an OXG fan. They will not lose any, and they will at least have a chance at making playoffs. That being the operative word, because unfortunately, even for them, a 7-2 does not guarantee it.
The fate is not in their hands, unfortunately. OXG are going to know that. And let's be honest, OXG are a team that quite a few teams have got a target on their head for the playoff week. Because OXG are going to be coming in to those playoffs, and they are going to be seen in some ways as not an easy game, but maybe an easier opponent based off the siege that we've seen. So for OXG, this is still good reps that they need to get in. They're going to be kicking things off with a bit of a clear over here. We've got a bit of a hop in through Solar, but Atom straight down. Dream is there to collect. Now, Gitty has been downed, and Forrest has made his way into the bottom of Trophy, but aside from that, I don't really know what else OXG gained off that little push.
Maybe this bit of positioning from Forrest will be enough. He's quite close to the site, but we've seen how tricky vertical angles can be, but he moves in, and there aren't actually that many above the plant spot itself. Impact made in the process, and it might come late in the round. Cloud9 start contesting that defuse plant quite nicely. Ooh, good flick by Grixer. Out of the corner of his eye, catching Packer tucked inside the doorway, and that'll be what they need to unstick these wheels and get that diffuser on the floor. Forrest might give his life for the mission, but at least he's furthered the cause. Grixer and Yaga both pull back, waiting for this impending retake from Cloud9. The defense looking to rescind their access from the site, and yet the push is quite late. Giddy will move around the corner, cover the trophy window, but Grixer, beautiful off-angle positioning. The Azami not expecting that angle. That is why Grixer has the reputation he has, even coming away from Shopify. He is still a threat to be sure. Another player spotted. The frost goes down. How about our second ace of the day? 1 round into Chalet. Grixer nets all 5 kills. Can you ask for better coverage?
I don't think you can. I think Grixer has performed his job and more. And let's face it, he made it look quite simple. Barely moved his feet. Cloud9 were in a serious spin cycle there. Grixer enabling that. This is one of the... Right, so this is how OXG attacked a couple of days ago when we saw them play Cafe. And I made the joke at the time of, what are we bad at? Everything. How do we get better? We make the round shorter. And Forrest was doing that straight from the off. Like, it was 1:25, you can see on the screen, and he's already had an attempt at the plant down. Like, the plant was halfway down and he had to come off it. So they were getting the plant down in the first instance at maybe 1:40. So inside of the first half of the round, which is incredible in itself. But to have the cover there, to have that coordination there, it all comes back to the joy of watching OXG right now. Like, they are firing. They are really getting the job done.
They are.
Already, Cloud9 have lost a life.
Already. And also, off the back of, and I think you briefly touched on it, off the back of not necessarily a major oversight, but one that OXG really read into. People will make vertical angles on that site, but at least watching Kitchen, the angles were quite sparing. The only one was the hatch, and what ultimately swayed OXG to making that play was realizing, hey, we might be able, now that we have this quick controller trophy, we might be able to creep into dining and get the diffuser down. And as you saw, Cloud9 had to open up vertical angles in the round to try to find it. That's just really good opportunity recognition from OXG. So not only you mentioned the speed with which they went, but recognizing those opportunities is really nice. Forrest thinks he finds the same thing, but sadly, I think a little less work was done. Adam will find a nice kill, and yet nobody's able to take a solid lead. Gomez finds 2 crossing the piano double window. And there are only 2 guns on the attack left standing against 2 of C9's, already down a life. Adam could be picked back up. But Silent in position to trade, caught with a C4 in hand. I don't know if Adam can be picked back up, but Silent overthinks it a little bit, doesn't play his life, gets caught with utility in hand. Good play by Gomez, too, to swing ahead of that. And what is Packer doing now? BP at his back can give intel. But these attackers can play the trades quite nicely. Even a nade for Grixer if they get information. Swings around the window. Immediate headshot. That's one done. Adam should be easy pickings. So Packer pushes deep. Pulls all the way over behind the office balcony, and that's when OXG moves in. ROU projector might go up, but he could walk right through. They might not anticipate it. Gunshots fire through, and Packer remains stationary. Doesn't give them the opportunity to react. Piece by piece, and now the last one right within his grasp. Adam just 1 HP, might put this diffuser down, but he's got the mirror window looking his way, so Adam will wait. A game of patience and chicken. Who will look first? Who will make the swing? Packer fires some shots. Adam starts moving around. A little rotation, a little info. That red ping gives Packer the confidence to start moving, and yet he falls back. Moves forth, Bailiff in hand. Only one shot required. An ace to start and a clutch to follow. This better be a sign of things to come.
A big round there from Packer, but you've got to question how OXG managed to drop that ball. They had a 3 versus 2 when they picked Atom up. Grixer did some incredible work from the piano window, but Packer's allowed to break it down into 1 versus 1s. I don't know about that one. OXG, it looked really bad, I'll be honest. From the start, it looked really... You see Forrest running in immediately into the waiting arms, and you just think, this is bad. Then it starts to look really good because off the back of that, other things were happening. So it wasn't just Forrest running in blindly, and there was a bit of an overreaction as well at the same time from Cloud9. There was some hella information available in that site. The BP's really the MVP of that round for Packer because the information that they were able to provide, he was like a guided missile. You just give him the coordinates, lock him in, send him on his way. That Z ping or red ping gets sent out, and boom, he's there.
You gotta say, though, it's helpful for us to kind of making our point. But that is the two halves of OXG. They can go fast, but sometimes they just don't think it all the way through. And when it works, boy, is it fun to watch. Boy, does it look great. When it doesn't work, you're like, man, could have taken 10 seconds to destroy that F-Naught.
Yeah, I think like it's difficult, isn't it? Because going fast wasn't the problem there. Because you hit the reset button in the 3 versus 2. It was what happened after the reset, wasn't it? That was the problem. Like the going fast bit actually worked quite well. But it's then recovering and stabilizing and transitioning it from a going fast into a 3 versus 1. We just need to hunt this guy down or get the diffuser down and make him play. And I think that's where they really struggled there in round number 2.
True. Fortunate loss to the clutch drone early on by Adam. He's trying to get the default cam. It's a clean little... Okay, hold on. There we go. Clean little bar games defense for C9. We will find that BP, and inevitably there will be focus from the attack paid onto this mezzanine position. We do have the Jaeger, of course. But, well, I guess we don't have the Jaeger or the Fenrir. I was going to mention both. As Packer was in a position to maybe play that wall or play the crossfire in case Kobe gets pushed. Well, both decide to peek very early on and, well, get punished for it.
And why are we peeking double window anyway? Like, that's a horrendous thing to peek. Someone's always watching that.
Round, like
someone is always going to be on that window waiting for that fireplace player. Never mind anyone rotating from office. You don't expect it. It's that much of a rarity. Gitty could be on something as he starts to move through piano. But OXG haven't gone for the traditional route here of taking that top floor control. Instead, they're still probing. They're still looking to see where their avenue of approach is. Silent in a real off position right now. Forrest just below watching flanks. There's no shield this time, so there's no big indication of when a push is going to happen. The Adrenal Surge is probably our best guess right now as we see Gomez push through.
It's the power of that flank from Giddy. It's why you need to make plays in 3v5s like that. You got to do something to bring the man count back. That's when the type of swing we saw Packer do earlier actually becomes necessary. And in this case, it works quite well. Gomez and Adam both fall, yet OXG still find themselves in a nice position. Force pops in, grabs a kill, pops back out. Puts Cloud9's face in the dirt, mucks it up a little bit. So Giddy will try to hold another off position, but you can see Yaga's being careful about it. Not letting anything go unnoticed, not letting any box go unticked. Dream now spotted in stock, a default position. Even if they didn't see him, they would already know he was there. Round 2 so far, just a blip on the radar. OXG retake their lead.
Really nice use of the Brava there in that last round from OXG. They managed to hack the camera on the mezzanine, and that was able to provide real key information for Yaga to catch the player Gitty, who was just, let's be honest, in a real off angle. You mentioned it there, Lynx. No one expects anybody to be tucked in that position on the fireplace. But guess what? If you've hacked the BP and mezzanine, you've watched them go there, you've got a pretty good idea of where that player is going to be. OXG winning out on the util game there inside of round number 3. And it'll kind of go unnoticed. The Ying gets banned in this round, which, okay, we've seen it brought, we've seen it used. It did help OXG getting a bit of control, especially when attacking the kitchen site. They used it to get control of the top floor. But I don't think it was that game breaking. Cloud9, however, choosing to use their tactical timeout, recognizing that they've only got 1 life left.
This is the round. This is quite literally what decides whether, not even if you get into playoffs, whether you even have a chance. Just 1 final life remaining to have a shot at being that 6th place team and overtaking Wildcard and LFO, which again would have to be in the tiebreak. That's what it would have to come down to. As Cloud9 find themselves in 7, and if a regulation win, just point-wise, would get you to 10. And so Wildcard would then have to beat LFO in OT, and then you have the tiebreak. It's as simple as that. Except as we all seen, it's not so simple, because if Packer had not clutched a 1v3, Cloud9 would have just been out of playoff contention.
I tell you, if Packer hadn't clutched that 1 versus 3, I'd have been a lot more critical on him losing his life in there in round 3. I think we were fairly critical as it was, but I don't know if I'd have been able to restrain myself if he'd have done that and not clutched the round previous. Is that timeout going to be enough? 1 life remains here for Cloud9. You might be thinking it's early on in the series, but that's what happens when you get to a last play day and the standings are fairly tight. It's a fine margin, and we start to look at tiebreakers, because the tiebreakers are really where it boils down. If you're tied on points, then we're looking at things like head-to-head. We're looking at things like round difference, and that's where all of this comes into play. C9 cannot afford to make a single mistake from this point onwards, and that is an early part of the game to be saying that. In round 4, now no mistakes. Not many teams in the world can pull that off.
Very few can, especially against a team like OXG. It's not like they have had a perfect stage by any metric, but they've had a lot of very close games. Tons of 7-4s, tons of 7-5s, win or losses. Then, of course, we also have a 7-0 in there, but that's fine. It happens. It's a bad day. But it is still a team that we've called indecisive and unclear and vague when it comes to their roles, their identity, their strats. But the biggest decision they've had to make is, which teams do you want to be like? The DZs, the M80s? Or are you going to join Wildcard, Cloud9, and LFO in a fight at the bottom? And what they were able to decide with their win on July 10th, just a couple days ago, was they would join the top 6. That they would fight to see who's the best inside of the NA League. Now Cloud9 find themselves on the opposite side of that, just looking, not even for a seat at the table, they're just looking for scraps.
Hoping something falls off the table. As it stands, not too much going on right now. We do have a player entrenched in those solar stairs, but a nice impact EMP onto the wall will make pretty short work of those ADSs. It should allow some fire to get sent through. That is going to push Kobe Lex down. Just going to take a toe into the fire very briefly. Nobody there for the catch. Atom, he could be in a great position right now, but he's just going to back off for the time being. Valkyrie camera spotted out there as well. A bit more utility removed away from Cloud9. OXG, they haven't had to draw blood to get much control here, but slowly but surely they are tightening that net. And with the util that they've still got remaining, Dokkaebi calls, ROU projectors, you should be able to make something work. Another Dokkaebi call there going to get sent out. That could be the trigger.
Ooh, well, it certainly is a trigger. Giddy pulls it onto Yaga, though he's downed in the process. This flank by Adam has not quite worked, but he will, with the gunfire and the nades, at least find one. Pulling the defenders away from top floor. Oh, he's so concerned about Office, but Silent has stayed. Retakes that aggressive angle and denies OXG the control they were looking for. They found themselves in this position before, right next to the site, but Grixer, not nearly so lethal. Had 5 kills in the last dining attack, now he finds none. Instead, OXG themselves looking for scraps in round 4. Forrest cleans up Silent up top, but so much time has been wasted in the red. Kowilax and Packer just need to fall back, play passive. One aggressively postured, though both attackers softened up. Should be easy for this one, and indeed it will. Another Packer 1vx, this one on time to keep C9 alive.
It's getting so warm in Packer's room with all these clutches. Even his camera can't deal with it. Out of focus in the haze. Keeps Cloud9 in it for one more round. That's all they can do. They got to take this game one at a time. They have one chance. If they lose a single round to OXG, any chance of them being in playoffs is dashed. I think OXG moved quite slowly that previous round. We didn't see them move with the same tenacity. I don't know if they maybe overthought or cared a little bit too much. Atom's position, he got some success there, but he just had too many angles to check. He needed a little bit more support. And the backstab, from Forrest could have come a little bit sooner. If them two would have met in Piano, it might have provided more of a chance of singling out engagements or just being able to focus on one and not worry about multiple. As it stands, OXG aren't going to be kicking themselves too much there. They're still in a 2-2 game. It's still tied up. And they've got a couple more rounds of this current attacking side to flex. This is a lineup that gets me excited. Especially in the context of this new age OXG that we're seeing, where Forrest has realized, right, it doesn't have to be me on the shield. I can let that go to somebody else. Oh, okay, Grixer. 9-2. Nothing to it. Little cheeky counter SP. The counter spawny P onto the Vigil. It's not even like Vigil's got a lot of cameras to look at. That's a real oopsie.
Bit unfortunate to be sure. You don't want to be giving away advantages in a position like this. Heartbeat's already getting weak. Want to start rasping for breath. Dokkaebi call goes out. Very heavy usage of this Dokkaebi by OXG so far. A bit surprised in hindsight we don't see the ban come out from C9. Banning the Ying instead. Understandable. A lot of good intel has been gained off of it, and thankfully now you don't have to worry about it. Grixer finished off from that early damage dealt by Silent on that spawn peak, so you can't say it was for nothing. But Giddy is now just going to do what he's been doing this entire time. Ratting, holding an off position inside of Mudroom, and Kobe will take up a position on blue stairs to shoot me drones and make sure he stays hidden. Well, and it worked. They didn't even drone him.
We've still got 4 drones. Can we not?
Minute 40.
There's so much time.
Oh, they don't even get the trade?
I'm just going to let him slip.
Adam literally knows he's there. Like, there's nowhere else he could be.
Okay, now we're going to drone. I mean...
Like, there was literally nowhere else he could be.
Okay, Forrest is just going to ball it into sight.
And he's dead.
I mean, GG's, Forrest. Like, what did you expect? I mean, I don't even know where to go with that.
Where do you even start? Okay. I'm gonna give you an array of 3 options, okay?
Right, I'm listening.
Okay. Giddy not getting droned in Mudroom.
Mm-hmm.
Adam not cutting him off when he knows he's Mudroom.
Mm-hmm.
Or Forrest hot dropping the hatch by himself with diffuser.
What? And I've got to pick which is the most heinous crime.
Or the one you want to talk about the most.
Am I the judge?
You're the judge.
So, it's a chain reaction of events, isn't it? I don't think that you can judge the later events based off how the previous events unfolded. So Yoga jumping into Mudroom, for me, is probably one of the more serious crimes that was committed there. Because there was a lot of time left, and there was drone information. Anything after that, I feel like OXG are clutching at straws. I would rewind a little bit further and discuss how Gitty should have just been a dead man walking on that roam because he lost his buddy, Silent, on the Vigil. So you play a Vigil and a Mute upstairs, trying to harass a bit of a roam game and force a full clear. You lose the Vigil straight away, and OXG don't just complete that full clear and have cut-off set up. Like, that was a big problem for me before we start to try and salvage the round after Yoga hops into Mud. There was just so much going on there, and I mean, the door's wide open for Cloud9 right now. Based off the way that these last couple of rounds have gone, like, I'm not saying that Cloud9 are going to go flawless on their attack, but
Be careful.
they're not going to go flawless on their attack. That would be very, very improbable. They're going to get a hell of a lot of confidence if they keep chaining these defenses together.
How do you feel about Packer on Vigil? A lot of K1A fans in this lobby, it seems.
I mean, you can barely do any wrong this game. Packer's been shooting.
Bees and Dokkaebi calls go out.
That is some of the best timing I have ever seen.
All right.
Okay. He just unalived himself. Brilliant. Right,
no,
5 versus
not
2.
like this. Not like this.
Surely there is
Oh
not
my
a world
God.
where OXG messed this one up.
Not like this.
He's outside, for goodness sake. They know exactly where he is. Dream's tucked right now inside a master bed, but even he's been droned.
Oh.
This is going from bad to
Oh, and there's
worse,
a
and it's
Dokkaebi call.
going quickly.
They're still droning them too. Oh, here we go. Solar, there's one. Not punished yet, but there it is. Is it a Giddy 1vx? No, it's not. C9 have lost all of their lives, and we do not have do-overs. They are now officially out of playoffs contention, and your next game, Wildcard versus LFO, has just turned to if you win, you are in.
Oh, dear. Well, a tied game, or a game that now is fairly meaningless for Cloud9. Still an opportunity to get good reps in for OXG, though. I would hate to see it end in a sort of run out and a game that is taken a little bit less seriously because of, you know, the fate of it already being decided.
Less seriously.
I mean, we could go less serious, I'm sure.
Packer blew himself up.
Apparently the pipes are inconsistent.
Ah, yes. The pipes.
That's up there with some of the best excuses I've ever heard. Pipes are inconsistent. What is he even talking about? Like, the map's the map. It doesn't change. This might be one of the rare occasions I need to go in the match replay and actually watch what happened.
No lives left. Oh, there's been quite a few times this stage where I've just been taken out of commission. Oh, I'm tearing up at that. The pipes are inconsistent.
Inconsistent. I hate that. Inconsistent pipes. If there's one thing that I can't stand for, it is inconsistency in my pipes.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
that's the craziest thing. That's the craziest excuse I've ever heard. The pro players can come out with some pretty crazy excuses.
Okay, Okay, can you talk? I need it.
So, the thing that I like right now, OXG is still setting up in a very conventional manner. We've got some great tools. Warden, Mirror, and some laser gates. So keeping control of library should be fairly straightforward for him. It's going to require quite a heavy utility burn. And honestly, Not really a burn that Cloud9 have. They've got a couple of stuns. They've got a couple of smokes to throw in, but smokes are likely going to be destined for Silent on that glass. Grixer trying his best to get Mistdrawn down here. Triple positive at the moment, by the way. 9 and 3.
Oh, doing his best Giddy impression. Little dash. Classic little...
I mean...
Gorix knows he's being watched. Rima dash across the angle.
I mean, when you're the fastest operator in the game, you can do that sort of thing.
Dude, nobody runs like him. Packers down his blitz. Unfortunately, obviously we are joking about the pipes being inconsistent thing. I don't know what happened with the pipe. For all I know, it was inconsistent. This is kind of a real phenomenon with Packer, though, unfortunately. Picking the shields a lot and does seem to go down quite early. We saw it in the Nighthaven game a couple days ago as a big issue, but might not matter. C9 have found their way inside, and, well, nobody seems to have an answer for this diffuser going down. In fact, they're not aware until the deed has already been done. The bandits have already left the bank and are looking to get away. Silent will hold outside with the DMR, forced pick back up, so at least it's a full 5v3. We'll actually have more than enough manpower to deal with this two-man crossfire outside the double window, but time is slipping. Kobe will go for the pre-fire on the corner. There's one, there's two. We've gone from dominant odds to favored C9 in a matter of seconds. Kobe hitting some insane flicks. And Cloud9 piece it up. It comes one round too late, but hey, you gotta give him credit where it's due.
You've got to. You can't take it away from him. If you're just going to throw bodies in front of a player like Kobe likes, he's likely going to take advantage of that. It's like aim training. He's just in the lab. Just getting those reps in. Since Packer's early success, he has fallen off quite significantly. You made the comment about him playing on the shields and not always getting the job done. Maybe it's time for a change. This game's said and done.
Let's innovate.
Yeah, let's get crazy.
I want to see Packer on... I want to see Packer play Deimos with the M59.
I mean, he's going on to the Dokkaebi, to be fair. Or at least that is what the initial hover of.
I want Packer... Like, Packer's best, and for a long time, has been defense shotguns. I want to see Packer see if he can channel that on the attack. I think he's got it. I think he's got it in him. He'll stick to Dokkaebi. Kind of the spirit of what I wanted.
It's better than shield.
Amen to that.
Or is it? Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, honestly, if Packer gets like a 3K and hits like the craziest like West main lurk with the SMG-12, I'll be jumping for joy.
I actually really like Cloud9's lineup here.
I do too.
They're able to affect these operators. Like, it could be really good. We've got some great. It's a very SR lineup. The Sense and the Brava and
maybe minus the Striker, but
yeah, the Striker. I mean, the Striker things get lost. I mean,
oh,
that was always going to happen, Gomez. You can't just look at a window with a C4 rip, man. No wonder he got question marked.
Yeah, that was a very valid question mark.
No response from Gomez.
Gomez confused Kobe with a man that can't shoot back. Kind of trying to drop the nade on the floor. Kobe just came, he saw, and he conquered, so back off. A little clean 5v4 to start in a dining defense. He took down the Warden as well. So this sentence just got a whole lot more impactful. Dokkaebi call. Little burn. And what are we trying to find? What's this Dokkaebi call trying to initiate? So I was about to say, I better see somebody moving up West Main, and indeed I do. Giddy and Silent moving in. Giddy now down, and Silent now down. All right, well, that didn't work. Kobe, the last vestige. Packer's backstab found out. This round has gone from bad to worse, unfortunately, and Kobe has not fed a carousel of corpses like he was in round 7. Dream himself would be lucky to find one, and he finds more than he bargained for. So will Packer hit the greatest short backstab you've ever seen? Fortunately not. He will have to back off to Trophy and try and make his best out of a complete mess of a round.
I thought he was going to go upside down on the rappel, then try and make something happen. And then I thought he was going to go for the impromptu timeout. But then I realized this game has no bearing for Cloud9 anymore, so he may as well just send it. That looks like what he's going to do. He's made a heck of a lot of noise over this way, and he would have to hit some very nice shots in a short amount of time. And he isn't going to be given the chance. Too many angles to check. Yoga with the cleanup. OXG move one step closer. We commented that there was a really nice slew of utility for the attack to use there. Cloud9 had all the tools that they needed.
And they
just didn't seem to get any. Well, they used it, yeah, but they just didn't use it effectively, did they?
Well, yeah, that's that.
They even managed to kill the warden, for goodness sake.
I still can't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy a little bit of BM.
I guess
but
I just like. I don't really know what the play was. Like, you get the warden, and so then you have the Sens and the Bravo West main. Packer lurks from short up to main lurks main lobby up to short. But Gideon Silent were at the top of the stairs before the. No, Dokkaebi Call had gone out.
10 seconds to insertion.
It's just like they think the
5
site
seconds
was
to go.
here. I mean, Kobe, I guess, also hopped in.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
I guess I just don't know how they plan on blocking off site or what they plan on using. You know what? Ying would have been great there. Betting a lot on 2 flashbangs from Kobe and the ROU projectors from Giddy. That would be kind of at an off angle. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the sauce. I'm on the bar.
it's all good. It was a very strange round. And I think sometimes it can be difficult to figure out what happened or why things were happening when there was maybe not as much meaning behind it, or there was a bit of a bad call or some bad info. I think that's likely what was happening there in that round for C9.
Also, you know, good reaction from Adam impacting the floor, opening that vertical angle. Got to give credit to OXG.
Well, that's it. I think maybe we dig into OXG side of things where their reaction to what was happening around them was good, because regardless of the info that the attacker are working on, the defenders can only ever just go off what's happening around them. And when the floor gets blown up at your feet, Am, what do you do? You run away.
Reacted quite well. Reflexes not rusty whatsoever there. Is a master bedroom office defense. Might have been confused considering we see defenders in basically all the exact same positions. But nobody directly on Solar Stairs at the moment. Where is Packer going to enter from?
Magnets ready.
Unclear at the moment.
Ooh,
Atom's still occupying a good spot inside a bathroom at the moment.
Little B window hopping.
I mean, he's going a real, long way around about doing this, and he's making a heck of a lot of noise along the way, but he will hop in.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna put a pin in that. Giddy does find the next kill. Gomez, who's moving about down below, found out quite nicely. But it's only a 4v4 with minimal solar control. This C4 from a Warden likely going to have a lot more impact than Gomez's attempt at it last round. Grix has got the reinforcement for cover, throws it deep. The attackers actually all pushed up, and Kobe will take down Forest. Maybe getting a little over-aggressive given the situation. Sight's trained on bedroom window. Grixer will at least restore his eyesight, finds 2. Advantage back in the favor of OXG as the defense, the remains of it, quite stalwart in the face of this very linear C9 attack. Silent in the 1v3, trying to channel some of that energy from Packer, will only find one. Okay, so we can only go so long with kind of joking about it. And I understand this game doesn't mean anything anymore. The story for C9 for me this entire stage is, I don't know if Packer is being trolled. I don't know if the coordination as a whole is not there. I don't know if it's a Packer problem. I don't know if it's a team problem. I don't know. When I see them next stage, these shields have to be used better. This is the amount of times I have seen Packer hop in a window, walk up a hallway, try and take a position and not only die immediately, die untraded. And not just die immediately untraded, die to a player he did not know about. I don't know what the problem is, but we cannot be basing our attacking strategy around such a key operator and doing it such a profound disservice. So consistently game after game.
The crazy thing is,
but it's got to stop.
we knew Atom was there as well. Like, obviously we knew he was there, but it wouldn't, you know, it wasn't a big stretch to say that he was still playing inside a bathroom because you've impacted the floor beneath him. Where are they going to go? They're likely going to go into the bathroom.
And you know what we can say, Ollie? Again, it's good positioning from Adam. It is another time that Adam has been met with some force by the attack, and he's reacted very nicely. Try to play an off angle to try to catch them off guard. And we can give that credit to Adam, but how many times have I said that exact phrase when it relates to a shield brought by C9 dying?
Yeah, it's fair.
If you get had so often by the same kind of thing, you gotta start checking for the thing.
Well, if you can look at the drones that they've got left coming into this phase, or into the round, I should say, they've already lost 3 inside of the prep. A good old metric for drones before there was a lot more information in the game was that if you lost a single drone in the prep phase, things were looking a bit dicey for the attack. Now, that was a long time ago. There is far more that can be brought now. We have Brava, for example. That brings a couple more drones that can be, or a couple more cameras, should we say, that can be driven around, used to steal electronics and gather information at the same time. But losing 3 in the prep, it is going to hurt you. Especially when you're waiting for those players or wondering where those players could be. It's sometimes nice to have a little bit of a drone. Maybe we should play a game. Maybe we should just watch. Right, Dream's on his drone right now. He's flicking.
Silent on his drone.
They're on their drone as well.
Okay.
So Kobilax is down. Now, there was no drone anywhere near where Kobilax was right there. So Kobe's maybe gone in blind, maybe not. Maybe they knew that somebody was there, but there was at least no one there to pick up a trade.
That's the bigger thing, because I believe... So Dream had a drone bedroom. So he did have a drone office. So they did drone out that defender. So I think the bigger issue is that nobody was there for a trade. But they do get at him at least. He does fall eventually. As Kobe did deal a lot of damage to him in that engagement that went awry. As a result, Cloud9 have cleared out office and they can progress forth. You see Packer on the blitz, down in Mudroom. Ooh, but Dream hit by a nice shot from Gomez, but again, solo upstairs. So all of these remaining C9 players, it's all based on how they can move around this entrance from Mud. Silent picks up another. Very nice. Where is he getting these kills? Clash shot from behind too. It's an extremely difficult attack to make work, but C9 do it. We gotta give him credit for that. Silent, the main force behind it, will fall to that Vector from Forest. I don't know what the play is here. Where is he going?
This is an interesting one.
What? What?
What is Forrest doing? He's been allowed back in? Okay, surely he dies. Right, fair play. I mean, even Packer doesn't know what's gone on.
That's that.
By the way,
totally
he survived to the end of the round on Blitz, by the way.
He did. Interesting thing, by the way. So, but quick thing I mentioned. Kobe had nobody to trade him. You know who was literally directly behind him?
Who?
Packer on the blitz.
See?
So maybe we play a little more passive, position ourselves on the left side of the doorway so we don't peek. Then we get the Packer set up on the other side to go pinch. I don't know. This is a nice shot, to be fair. And the walls are reinforced, so it's a bit difficult to deal with. But anyway, continue.
Silent hit a few nice shots in that round.
Yes, he did. I honestly, I have no idea how he was getting half those kills. I was very impressed.
Well, neither have I, because I actually did just watch to see what Cloud9 were doing. I was like, are they on drone? Are they not on drone? And that was basically what I watched for the whole round. And what was really interesting to me was that we got to a point and there was no reset. There was no, like,
10 seconds.
right, let's now control the space we've got and drone and further our attack. They had 4 drones left when they died, like, and no one was really flicking anything. It was quite, and I understand that you get to a point where you don't need to drone because you just know where everybody is. But it was just quite interesting to me that there was very little drone usage in that round. Like, I reckon players must have spent less than, like, what, 40 seconds on drone? Which, when you compare that to some other teams, some other teams will spend, you know, one person will spend a hell of a long time in the drone. So it was just curious to me. That was all. I just wanted to do that little bit of a thought experiment, seeing as we are zeroing in on different things in this game because the stakes have changed a little bit. Cloud9 can no longer... Yeah, they can no longer get into playoffs. OXG just getting reps in, Cloud9 just getting reps in. So we can focus on other things, I guess. But interesting to look and see just why some of these attacks are failing, why some of the attacks are doing well, and trying to theory craft a little bit around that.
And I think the ultimate thing that we've seen with OXG's defenses, especially on Chalet, that SSG game's a great example, is that OXG aren't doing anything particularly great, but they've got like a very solid floor for their defenses, and it usually doesn't deviate much from that. They have good setups. Most people are pretty good at playing their positions and not over peaking. And so if the attacking team can clear it, OXG face problems. If they don't, OXG usually look really good when they win these defensive rounds. So usually with OXG's game, a lot of it is, as you can tell, not really all that crazy. You're playing utility on the site, but instead we see potentially very nice read from Cloud9. Dream moves in trying to put the diffuser down, and Forrest either is not able to throw the C4, but more likelihood is covered. The main stairs stopping him from pushing forth. Insane run out from Gomez, by the way. Very rarely do you see the library hop out work, let alone get 2 kills on the breach. Forrest glad he saved his C4. He removes Kobilak. Great backstab from Giddy. Suddenly makes this a 2v2. Forrest does some demolition and smashes through Giddy's face. Packer with 1 HP. Excellent pre-fire to get the next kill. Now it's a 1v1. He's got time on his side. Just one more swing to deal with Gomez. Just one more second, and he finds it. A Pyrrhic victory for Gomez, as it is now match point for C9.
It'd be such a shame for the story if C9 win this game and still don't have a chance of playoffs. Well, that's the reality that we are now faced with. I really thought that OXG were going to be able to bring that post plant back. They were able to get some very key kills. Well, that backstab from Gitty was the final nail in the coffin,
That was
really.
so clean.
As soon as the clash falls, as soon as the clash gets the person that's defusing, bam, it's like, it's just all over.
I gotta say, I know it's coming a bit late, and he's had an alright stage. Giddy has been making some great plays today. I've liked a lot of what I've seen from Giddy on the attack and the defense. Playing off positions, ratting, backstab right there. Giddy is just really, really putting on a nice display of his skill and thinking today. Making a lot of really smart moves to catch the enemy off guard. And in that case, bring back the round entirely.
He's 34th in the player rankings right now. He's a little bit further from that middle of the pack area, but not too far. I can't disagree with you that he's been making some very good plays. I mean, like, I know that we've memed a little bit on Packer, but Packer's not played too badly this game. Like, he's had a few, like, stinker moments.
No.
But without him,
that's
this
the
game
thing.
could be said and done.
That's the thing. Like, that's why I always phrase my criticism, not as criticism of Packer. It's just criticism of the shield usage. That's it. Like, maybe it's like, it might be an issue with Packer, maybe it's an issue with the team. I just don't know. Sometimes it seems like it could be any of them. But Packer's good. Like, Packer has been playing well this game. He's got that 1v3. One of the main reasons it'd be 6-5 the other way if that weren't the case. Packer's been playing well. That's why I always couch my criticisms as a criticism of the shield, and it just so happens he's always the one playing it. But when he's been on Dokkaebi, I would say, okay, aside from the dining rush, that was, again, kind of just more of a team-wide thing. He's had good moments on the Dokkaebi, had a good moment with the DMR that round. Obviously the 1v3 earlier, which you mentioned. But he's had good moments, too. Like you just said.
And on the flip side, nice for Oxygen to show up a little bit. We've been kind of asking who on this team, aside from Grixer, is going to stand up and be counted. Gomez and Atom, both putting up double digits today. Still looking for who the, sort of 2 and 3 are going to be in that team in terms of kills, because there's potential for it to be, anybody. We haven't really seen it too much, and we've also really questioned OXG's playstyle quite a few times and how they're looking to try and conduct themselves in the server. This is going to be a big test for them, though. Fighting up against that match point. Chance for Cloud9 to get a win here, which can only credit them for still playing so well, even though the stakes have been decided. They've still got to get the round across the line, and it isn't going to be given to them at all. OXG, they've got quite an elaborate rotate there inside and around that library. Gitty going to send in the Candela with the call. And that's a hop in now for Kobe-Lax.
Try to pinch this player inside a library. Spotted by the Damos. Ooh. Finished off by Kobe. Nice little coordination between the two attackers right there. And Grixer just waiting. Another one looking to line himself up for the R4C. Kobe hitting a highlight reel right as he goes positive with 3 kills to shut the book on OXG on Chalet. It might not matter. They might be stuck in the bottom 4, but you got to give them credit for this. Sticking with it, giving it a good old college try, and a flawless, Pyrrhic as it is, might just be the way to finish this off. No playoffs maybe, but a dub to end the season, and 10 points at that. At least for the moment, Cloud9 can say they find themselves in 6th.
A great result there for Cloud9. Love that for Kobe-Lax. Love that for the rest of the team. A very strong end to what has been quite an up and down season for them. But you better believe that they will be back. And they can at least hold their heads high, saying that regardless of the outcome today, they gave it their very best shot. We're going to hit a break, and we'll be back with the desk just after this.
It is a bittersweet ending for Cloud9 as they win the game but fail to win by enough rounds. A devastating close, but they get the win and hopefully carry a little bit of that energy into stage 2. Giddy, we'll welcome you in now as we wrap things up here for the group stage. You guys take the win. Obviously, you knew what was at stake. You knew what you had to do, but you're able to come out with the win. Looking back on this stage, where did you feel like some improvements were made, and what more improvements maybe could have been made?
I mean, the most improvement we found was before the Super Week. The last 2 weeks, we completely changed our attack style because just a lot of things just weren't working. We kept trying, it wasn't working. So we simplified things, made things more, it's just easier for everyone. And that just made us look a lot better as a team. Got our teamwork on point, because if you're just doing simple things every single time, everyone has to pitch in a little bit. So
yeah, it's a little bittersweet, because if we saw this Cloud9 in week 3, I'm sure you guys are going to be thinking about that. But for you specifically, Giddy, I think you're probably one of the most underrated players currently in the NAL. And so I just want to know about you for your first stage so far in the NAL. How does it feel seeing that progress, and also, coming from like T2 with the memes of people saying, oh, drop Giddy, to here you are now? What do you have to say?
I mean, yeah, I think it was just a little different. The BO1s definitely suck, because it feels like the games just fly by. Like, this entire stage feels like it just flew by, So I don't got playoffs, I don't have BO3s. Got to wait 2 months till stage 2. So, it sucks, but it was a good experience, Good game day reps, that's all it is.
Yeah, game day reps are the important thing. And again, at least you can know that you ended off of a win here. Obviously, you did touch up on you guys fixed your attacks. I'm sure going into stage 2, we're going to see, a completely different look at Cloud9 and what you guys can bring. Are you guys going to be taking time off, or are you guys just kind of going straight back into scrims, getting as much prep in going into stage 2?
I mean, we haven't even talked about it. We were really focused on just trying to win as many games we can right now, and then, you know, like whatever happens, happens. Like, because we still had a chance to make playoffs today.
Yeah.
We weren't really focused on the score, but it's like, you know, we can try to do it still. So
Absolutely. Well, I mean, even when you guys realized that you didn't have that moment anymore, you guys still continued to play your game. You still focused on the things that you were lacking, and obviously you closed it out. So, I mean, I think you guys obviously have the right strides and the right team dynamic to make it done. Again, it's just a matter of time.
yeah.
Well, Giddy, thanks you so much for your time, and thank you for a hard-fought stage. I know the three of us here, we wish you guys the best in continuing to prepare to come back stronger in Stage 2. Finishing it off with a win, but we will see you down the line, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Giddy. As we said, a bittersweet ending for Cloud9. They take the win, not dominantly enough, but a good finish, and once again, a team that is continuing to show that they are making improvements and that they are showing some positives.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I mean, for me, I actually wanted Oxygen to win because I didn't want to, like, rub it in Cloud9's face. Like, yes, you got the win today, but you can't make playoffs now.
It's
But
tough.
yes, it is important to note they didn't give up. Even after the fact they knew they couldn't make it anymore, they still pushed through. They closed it out here at 7-5. It's just unfortunate because, like Fox said, they're going to be looking back at week 3. They're going to even be looking back at the start of this super week of realizing this was their easiest week to get the 3 points, or to get the 9 points rather, and already qualify for playoffs. So there's sure a lot of stuff to be looking back on, but most importantly is they did end the day on a win.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we saw what Giddy was talking about, the changes in their attacks, and obviously I think a lot of that comes down to Packer. So I feel like individually, every single player on the team has improved so much, and, you know, when you look at the roster, it really is, you know, Dream that's carrying that big burden of being the leader, essentially. As for everybody else, I mean, besides Silent a little bit, but as for everybody else, you know, they're still settling into being in the T1. So obviously, great improvement. Yeah, I know that loss to Envy is definitely going to stick with them, but, you know, hindsight's 2020. You can only look forward.
I was going to say, we also have to look at Oxygen, though, because, I mean, they're in playoffs, and you're losing to Cloud9 where they've been on this struggle bus. They haven't looked the best. Sure, they have been performing these past 3 play days, but, again, you're losing to Cloud9. That's not such a good look. That doesn't bring me confidence that going into playoffs when you're in a best-of-3, you're going to find success. I would have much rather had a more convincing win coming out of Oxygen.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did feel they were really throwing a bone to Cloud9 by allowing Chalet to go through again after not finding success against SSG, not finding success here today. So maybe that's just for them to just get rid of Chalet going into this best of 3, but I'm definitely not fully confident now, especially what it's looked like going into a best of 3.
I mean, just because Chalet's such an aggressive attack sider map, well, more even as to the other maps, I think it really comes down to OG still trying to figure out their footing on their attacks, being able to identify who's going to be entering. If one entry goes down, who's going to be the secondary entry. And also, one thing that I hope changes is the energy around matches like this for OXG, because I'm sure you could attest to it. It felt like because they've already qualified for playoffs, maybe they didn't care as much, so to say. So hopefully that is not the case, and we can see them bounce back in playoffs.
Well, that one, our third match of the day, all wrapped up. A look back at where we started. It was Cruelty and Envy who opened the day. Cruelty establishing themselves as that 9th place team, sending Envy down to 10th. Of course, M80 and Shopify going toe-to-toe, and we saw some flair there, a little playoff preview. And of course, the match we just saw, Cloud9, a win, but not strong enough. A lot coming your way later. We've got Orgless and a wild card. That is a big one next, because that is where all the playoff hopes come to a head. It's win and in. It's as simple as that for Orgless and Wildcard. The playoff spot is theirs to claim if they can just win that game. We'll have that one coming up next.